Okay. Isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. I would like to introduce myself. I am Eric Paulo Cansanay Dizon. I am currently living here in Los Baños, Laguna. Um, a little history about myself. I am a graduate of agricultural economics. I major in policy and development. I graduated in University of the Philippines, Los Baños. I am currently taking up my master's in public administration, and I am working as the labor and employment officer here in our local government unit, here also in Los Baños. So we were tasked in PA 304, Development Administration, to tackle a certain topic, and I chose the Ecology of Development Administration. So um, it really caught my eye because the term ecology and the term development administration are two different words in my perspective. It's like um, apples and oranges. Magkaiba siya. So, um, na it really caught my attention, and I am really glad that ito yung nakuha kong topic. Okay. Okay. So let's start. Development Administration. Again, I am Eric Paulo Cansona Edison. I am um, reporting for Dr. Edward M. Moises. Let's start. First, the term ecology. Siyempre, nung tayo ay high school, kahit nung tayo ay college, when we will hear the word ecology, ang unang-unang pumapasok sa isip natin, I, I am sure of it, di ba? Food web, food chain, um, mga hayop, mga tao, di ba? Kasi in biology, the term ecology is the study of living things and its relation to each other in their environment. Also, the term ecology suggests the relations and interdependence between living organism and their environment. Diba? Um, I am actually also teaching in the undergraduate in Holy Trinity University. I teach general education subjects, and one of my subject ay yung environmental science. So also teach my students the term ecology. Pagka may living organism at pagka meron siyang relation to it, di ba? Kahit harmful, kahit beneficial, meron tayong ecosystem. At the term ecology, yun yung papag-aaral ng mga ganong bagay. Thus, the study of development administration also includes ecology. So, at first, it is very confusing, di ba? Pero, um, I will, uh, I will talk about the the fields and the sets of environments para ma-relate natin yung term na ecology sa public administration or in specific sa development administration. Fred W. Riggs. So si Mr. Fred Riggs, siya yung most famous when it comes to ecology in public administration. In his book, he stressed the relationship between public admin and its environment. His main emphasis is not on the physical or biological aspects, but rather on the human social system itself. Um, mamaya po, maipapaliwanag ko kung bakit very important yung human social system. Um, it will be clear if mapag-aaralan po natin yung sets of environments na nagso-surround do sa ecology and development administration. But first, the ecological approach is based on the view that an administrative system may not act as independent variable in all situations. Again, meron po tayong mga relationships of factors. Or in this slide, it is sets of environments. Development administration is surrounded by four sets of environments based kay Fred Riggs. First is social, second is political, the third is economic, and the fourth is cultural. So, dito, umiikot yung aking presentation for this subject or topic in that matter. Let's first go to social. Di ba? Social. First thing that comes to mind, social media. Di ba? Facebook, TikTok. Siguro yung term na social ni Fredericks ay super different na sa ngayon. Excuse me. My apologies. I am having um, my allergic rhinitis because it's like super cold here in Los Baños. Okay, social. Again, the term social, for me, I think, and I am 98% sure that the term social here for rigs is different from the social term nowadays. Di ba? Pagka siguro sinabing social ng mga time ni Riggs, maybe social gatherings, meetings, di ba? Though meron pa rin naman siya ngayon, pero in a different spectrum na, digital. Di ba? Now, again, the development administration is a very complex topic. And here, it is rooted in a larger social system. Any social system exists within three sets of environments. Now, the first is physical environment. For example, klima or climate. The second is cultural environment. Doon papasok yung norms, values, and goals. And the third set of environment in the social system based on rigs is the technological environment or the state of knowledge. Diba? So, dito papasok on how the social system works. Pwedeng it works on a physical environment, it works on a cultural setting, and it works on a technological advancement or in this term, technological environment. So he also emphasized the social problems that development administrator or public administrator faces. Okay? Pero I think and Riggs also emphasized that there are two phases or two sides of the development administration, the positive and the negative sides. Let's go first to the negative sides. Lahat ng ito, sum lang po ito kasi Riggs mentioned about 10, pero I included the 5 na most common sa ating bansa. First is poverty, kahirapan. Of course, the Philippines is a rich country. However, dahil sa mga social injustice, sa kakulangan ng trabaho, sa skills unfitting, di ba? Sa mga opportunities na sobrang kakaunti at sa mga uh, political problems like pagnanakaw sa kaban ng bayan, di ba? Pagnanakaw sa kaban ng bayan, tapos tatakbo kang joke lang. The second is prostitute or prostitution. Prostitution is a problem I think that is rooted pa noong sobrang tagal na. This is a problem dahil the social injustice between the men and women in terms of power, in terms of pagtingin, in terms of how um, how we see men or women as tools for our saglitang kaligayahan, di ba? The third is unemployment. So, as the labor and employment officer nga for 3 years na, working in the labor and employment scene, I must say that the root cause pa rin ng kahirapan ng mga tao ay opportunity to work. Uh, dahil for me, hindi pantay talaga ang tingin, di ba? Pag sinabing high school graduate ka, kahit pag sinabi na college graduate ka, di ba? Pero kasi sa ibang bansa, kasi it's like, hindi siya big deal. Di ba? But here, in our country, it is a very, very big deal. Maybe, um, dahil to sa Philippine traditions, na kung saan kailangan magtapos para makakuha ng magandang trabaho. Hindi na naiisip yung opportunity in businesses, di ba? I think dun siya magagaling. The fourth is racial discrimination. Though wala naman tayong ibang races talaga dito sa ating bansa, pero I think mga Pilipino yung number one. I'm so sorry for the term, kupal. When we see dark-skinned Filipinos, di ba? Tayo yung unang-unang manlalait. We scream racial discrimination is a problem. Pero dito sa bansa natin, makakita na tayo ng Chinese Qinghong na agad. Makakita na tayo ng, di ba? The fifth is beggary. Kaya ko to sinama, sir. Dahil beggary is the result. It is the mirror kung gaano kahirap ang isang bansa. Kung gaano hindi pantay ang ating society. At lahat ng ito ay hindrances to development administration. So, social conflicts arises in society due to the scarcity of resources. And the administrator or the public admin, our future leaders should have sufficient knowledge of such conflicts, and he or she should know the means to resolve and manage those conflicts. Kailangan malaman natin kung sino yung ating mga leaders na makakatutok, alam yun, makakakuha, makaka-create, makaka-formulate ng the right formula para sa ating um, mas magandang society and less social conflicts. Also, dito na rin papasok yung implementation of laws and policies. So, of course, siguro nakakarinig na tayo ng mga mga kasabihan na apakadami ng laws, apakadami ng batas. Pero bakit gano'n? 'Di ba? Siguro maybe dun siya sa implementation of laws and policies. At dito papasok yung roles and duties and responsibilities ng local government units. Okay. Now, unless there is an efficient, honest, non-corrupt, well-trained leader, di ba? Well-trained administrative machinery to implement social policies, plans, programs, and laws, there is no development. There is no social justice. There is no social welfare. So the ideals talaga ng social justice, kanina ko pala ito pino-point out, lagi nagro-root, nanggagaling sa good administration. At bilang future and current public administrators tayong lahat dito, di ba? Diyan natin makikita that the social conflicts ay kayang labanan at ang tangi lang sagot dyan ay good admin. Let's go to the positive side. So the positive sides of development administration with regards to social context is, of course, removal of corruption. Corruption. Removal of corruption. Siguro isasama ko na din dito, Mr. Fredericks, the um, the ability of people to understand the true context of history. Diba? Again, if we do not learn from our mistakes in the past, we are tend to do it again and again. We will come in full circle, guys. Okay, next is minimizing social conflicts or quarrels. Let's now go to the political set of environment based on W. Fred W. Riggs. Development administration is completely depends yung isla na yan. Completely depends upon the political system. We rely mostly on the political system. Hindi maiwasan when it comes to public administration. Hindi maiwasan if you are in the public service that you will go into the political system. Dahil dyan naka-engrave yung pinaka-backbone ng public administration or in this context, development administration. No aspect of development can be studied without political influence. Politics influences almost every aspect of development administration. The whole field of administration operates in the political environment. It is very common, especially in the local government unit, up to the barangay level, the so-called political environment. Pag hindi ka manok ni mayor, pag hindi ka tao ni congressman, I doubt kahit maganda yung mga plans mo, maganda yung iyong policies, andun na yung hindrance kasi talaga. Hindrance of the good nature talaga of public serving. Pero in the political aspect, in our dirty politics kung paano ko siya i-describe. Hindi siya talaga the whole field talaga of administration operates in the political spectrum of our country. Policy formulation is the job of politics, while enforcing is the job of development administration, where policy formation ends, implementation begins. Again, we have a ton of good laws. We have very, very strict development plans. We have a very good vision and mission for our Philippine Development Plan. Uh, ang ganda ng ating ambisyon, 2040. Diba? Pero, the spectrum of political nature when it comes to development administration, dyan na papasok. Pagpasok mo sa implementation. Yeah. And one good example for this is in the arena of local government units. Pag hindi, yun nga, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, pag hindi ka tao ni Mayor, pag hindi ka, di ba? Pag hindi ka bet ni ganto, pag hindi ka bet ni Cap, yeah. Nakakalungkot. Corruption has become routine in governmental administration. It cannot be eradicated so easily, either by law or by any ordinance of the government. Both citizens and the government are equally responsible for the evil of corruption. Meron pang kasabihan, walang taong malinis. Maybe that's true. Di ba? Pero kasi, if you are doing it in a routine, I don't think dahil lang yun sa sistema. I think sinasadya mo yun. Di ba? Makita naman yun sa history. Di ba? Makikita yun sa mga track record. Makikita yun sa books, sa record ng mga ang tawag dito, balance sheets sa ating SALN, di ba? If we do not tawag doon, express our true SALN sa forms na sinasend natin every year, it is a form of corruption for me. If we are late in our work, it is a corruption para sa akin. If we are, alam mo yun, if we are cramming, if we are pa-badging na sa work, habang tayo ay pinapasahod ng tax ng bayan, di ba? Pinapasahod ng kahit sarili nating tax. For me, this is a form of corruption. If hindi tayo nagsasabi ng totoo, and we want to hold a very important position in the government, for me, hindi siya corruption ng pera. It is corruption of the people's trust. Diba? If we lie to the people, it is corruption of the trust ng mga supporters. Diba? We talk of neat, clean, and efficient administration. But in practice, quite reverse is the result. So the evils like red tape, diba? Nepotism yan, it's very frequent talaga, especially in the local government units. Makikita mo, office number 1, nandun si kuya. Office number 2, nandun si ate. Si bunso, andun sa may baba na office. Minsan pa nga, magkasama pa sa office. Bakit? Yung isa permanent position, yung isa job order. Diba? So, merong butas, excuse me. Diba? Again, the evils like red tape, nepotism, corruption, etc., have become the hindrances in the way of development and administration in the context, in the set of environment of the political nature. Now we go to economics. So the economics is the study of wealth, di ba? Money, data, number, graphs. So, sorry. So, alam na alam ko to dahil I am actually a major of uh, policy and development economics. Yan. So, economics is the study of wealth. It covers almost every economic aspect of human life. Pricing, currency, banking, planning, budgeting, production, distribution, consumption, exchange, all. Lahat to ay economic terms. Sinasabi ko nga sa mga friends ko, we should look for a leader that has a strong economic platform. We should look for a leader na may plano sa ating economics. Hindi lang basta marunong sumayaw ng budots. Hindi lang dahil siya ay sikat, siya ay anak ng dating presidente, siya ay pogi, siya ay sikat na artista, sikat na boksingero, di ba? They should have a strong economic plan, strong economic platform para i-aahin sa atin. Dahil a weak economic plan ay nagre-reflect mga after 15 years. Diba? If a leader today will make drastic economic changes, papataasin yung ating inflation yeah, from 3% up to wag naman sana 10% ng inflation. That's mararamdaman yun ng ating mga anak, na ating mga apo, di ba? Dissatisfaction. It is increasingly recognized that public officials in the developing nations are generally dissatisfied with their salaries, and as such, dissatisfaction is the main cause of official corruption. So doon pala magko-connect yun, di ba? Official corruption is the context of administrative development. And planning occupies a very important role in development administration. So in the photo, you will see the National Economic Development Authority, or our premier planning agency here in the Philippines, NEDA. As the agency works on the country's economic recovery program, the National Economic Development Authority, or NEDA, is also gearing up to look beyond the pandemic and prepare for the future. And Socioeconomic Planning Secretary Carl Chua said that he will focus sa kanyang last term, on four key areas to provide the next administration with much better foundations para ma-achieve natin ang ating Ambition 2040, kung saan no one is living in extreme poverty. Bakit nga ba tayo nagse-set ng targets kahit it seems impossible, 'di ba? If we are going to have a goal that is nearly impossible, I think the concept here is gagawin lahat to make the possible possible. Para ma-reach man lang natin kahit kung andito yun siya, ma-reach man lang natin siya dito, di ba? We will try our best to reach the impossible. And the four key areas, according to Carl Chua, is smart infrastructure, innovation, um, regional equity, and climate change. Let's see kung naisama ko dito yung idea. Okay? Let's go back. I have here my script. So, Chua explained that smart infrastructure would integrate the existing road infrastructure into the concept of smart cities, where principles of urban mobility and development rate are at the heart of infrastructure. This will also cover all forms of transportation. Sinasama na nga din dito, excuse me, yung digital communication, planning, land use, and especially the environment. Meanwhile, innovation naman will lead to the generation of new ideas within various industries to help the country compete globally. Aside from the technological advancements, innovation also includes systems and process improvements, especially in basic sectors like agriculture. Innovations, doon papasok, of course, new ideas. I think one thing that Mr. Secretary Karchua must learn from our past mistakes is that marami tayong mga innovative kababayans. Pero hindi lang tayo tinututukan ng ating government. We have so much talent here, pero hindi natin siya nakukuha or sorry, hindi natin siya nagagamit na maayos. Ando naman sa smart infrastructure dahil the administration of the current president revolves around the failed war on drugs. Ang pinaka siguro tatatak sa kanya as his legacy is the build programs. Yeah. Like ako, I've experienced when I went to Baguio. When I was a kid, no, nung ako ay college, nagpunta ako ng Baguio. It took me around 8 to 9 hours para makapunta ako ng Baguio. But now, nakapunta ako doon within 3 hours. Grabe. Yeah. Very strong naman talaga ang build yung program. Pero in terms of debts and national capital equities na napapabayaan talaga, bagsak. The third key areas for the current NEDA is the regional equity. So sa photo, nakikita natin that lahat sila nakakuha ng apple, pero hindi lahat sila nabigyan ng tulong. Bibigyan ng tulong ayon sa pangangailangan. That's equity. Equality, bibigyan ng pantay-pantay. Pero I think the better term, the better concept para matulungan talaga is equity. Bibigyan ng naayon sa pangangailangan para lahat-lahat pantay-pantay. Di ba? So for him, Chua also expounded on regional equity. According to him, the government has to pay attention to the proper allocation of resources to make the poorest areas with the biggest gaps in social services receive just financing. That, yan. Diba? Parang um, doon papasok yung uh, the skill and the talent to para ma-identify talaga kung gaano kalaki yung pakakailangan ng isang region. At syempre, doon papasok yung NEDA. At also, bilang yung NEDA is planning to be a department soon, the Department of Social Planning, I think, diba? Magkakameron na sila ng mga regional offices dahil syempre, the allocation of funds mas magiging sapat na para sa kanila. At maybe it's a better strategy para maging department ang NEDA dahil hindi na siya unit within the Office of the President but it will be a separate department. Siguro mas makakalakad siya ng kusa niya. Mas makikita siguro ang overall framework on how our country works. Siyempre, doon ma-identify yung mga key, yung mga stronghold keys natin dyan para malaman natin yung problema. The fourth key area he mentioned is climate change, emphasizing that this sets the backdrop for all present and future development challenges. Matagal na nating naririnig to fight climate change. Diba? He said that I would like climate change to be the center or heart of our socio-economic planning. And I have actually directed NEDA to craft the next PDP or the Philippine Development Plan as it as revolving around climate change. Kasi lahat daw ng nasabing tatlo or the infrastructure, agriculture, innovation, governance should revolve around protecting the country. And especially, most especially, threats of climate change. Let's go to cultural. The last key area, according to Riggs, the cultural aspect. So, dun sa book ni Riggs, nakakulangan ako sa input. So, I've searched for recent connection between development administration and the cultural aspects in development administration. At doon ko nalaman that it is very complex pala talaga. Okay? So, let's first define the culture. Economists tend to narrowly define culture as customary beliefs and values that ethnic, religious, and social groups transmit fairly, unchanged from generation to generation. The impact and the influence of culture on development administration is quite direct and immediate. Development administration has a philosophy of its own. Culture affects the development administration is bound by people's culture. So basically, ang sinasabi po dito is that some countries daw, when they have a strong cultural aspect, kung sino yung mga countries na pinapangahalagahan yung kanilang cultural aspect in relation to economic development. Talaga, yung country na yon ay siguradong magiging develop. For example, ang nakita ko example dito is si Ghana in Africa at saka si South Korea. So, at one time in history, magkapantay sila in terms of economic development. Pero nakita kasi ng mga economists that South Korea has this discipline, has this strong economic backbone na nag-root sa kanilang cultural aspects. Di ba? Hindi naman sinasabi ng mga economists na weak yung sa Ghana, pero mas strong na talaga yung sa South Korea. Makikita natin 'to kung papaano nila pino-promote yung kanilang culture, 'di ba? It's like they have this Korean pop music as as a respect to the Korean culture, pop culture, 'di ba? Ngayon, it is a global phenomenon. Koreans also have this strong discipline in terms of pagpapatupad ng batas. Makikita rin ito sa mga Asian countries like Japan, Taiwan, that they have this respect on how they work. Yeah. So maybe that's the simplest explanation when it comes to connecting culture and development administration. It's like naapektuhan ng culture bounded by its history, di ba? Yung pagiging isang developed country. And the cultural factors have various implications for the administrative processes like motivation, communication, and authority. So yung three words na yan are the cultural factors daw na nakakaapekto sa mga administrative processes. Motivation, communication, and authority. First, motivation. Some studies have convincingly argued that due to culture, religious beliefs, and class structure, the general population in many countries tend to have fairly low achievement drive, whereas in other countries, it may be the other way around. Diba? Motivation. Here in the Philippines, usong-uso yung smart shaming. Again, smart shaming. When a person seems to be smart, seems to be bibo, seems to be smarter than lahat ng tao sa room, I tell you guys, usong-uso yung smart shaming. Yeah, it's a culture here in the Philippines kung saan pag may nakita kang, di ba, underdog that is a rising star, eh, they tend to, we as Filipinos tend to pull them down. Nung ngayong term na yun, utak talangka, tama ba? Yun. So, yun. Second key is communication. Communication process is culture. The one-way process of communication, mostly from top to bottom, in our organizations, it is also a reflection of social culture. So, communication in terms of siguro pagiging visible. Communication maybe sa paramdam ng projects, policies, di ba, and laws. Communication processes maybe on how we tend to interpret some laws, di ba? Interpret some facts na sometimes nabebend ng ating beliefs. Sometimes, pag narinig lang natin sa matanda, we tend to believe that it's true, pero it's not. Diba? Pag sinabi ng ating mga lelang, nung panahon nito, maayos. Diba? But the data suggests otherwise. Parang ganun. So, dun papasok on how we treat respect to our elderlies. Dahil sa lahat ng sinasabi nila, we believe. Wala na tayong, anong tawag doon? Confirmation. Yan. The third key in the cultural aspect in development administration is authority. We want you. This attitude not only legitimizes the authority structure, but also ensures personal loyalties of the lower levels of organization, in total disregard of abilities and actions of persons in authority. authority. Oh, ina-assess ko nung nababasa ko 'to, ina-assess ko yung, capacity ng mga Pinoy na sumunod sa authority. Ina-assess ko, sumusunod ba talaga tayo? I think sumusunod tayo in the right sense. Sumusunod tayo with the right leaders. Sumusunod tayo 'pag tama lahat. As Filipinos, I think in our history, we are a natural born rallyist, di ba? Kung sino yung mga nagagalit sa pagrarally, gusto ko sabihin na our independence were rooted dyan sa aklas na yan, pag-aklas. Ganun, tama yung word, di ba? Yeah. And maybe dyan pa rin papasok yung on how we respect yung mga nakaupo. Hindi lang yung ating mga politicians but also our men in uniform. Nakita naman natin na, di ba, we have little respect nun talaga. Siguro yung iba fear yung nararamdaman pero I think the authoritative respect should be in first. Culture is a powerful driver for development. And I agree with that 100%. With community-wide social, economic, and cultural impacts. Culture ensures unity during crisis, influences identity, debates, and dialogue. It is important for the nation building and is for peace, peace and reconciliation. Wait lang po. Okay. Ah, damn these allergies. So, basically, sinasabi lang dyan that culture is a powerful the driver talaga for development. In terms sa lahat ng ating mga napag-usapan, social, economic, and kahit na yung environmental impacts. And that's it. So, I would like to end my presentation with um, a quote na hindi hindi ko makakalimutan. Uh, di ba? The people should not be afraid of their government. The government should be afraid of their people. Di ba? Very timely yon dahil we tend to act like we are fans. We tend to act like utang na loob nila as a person in the government. Lagi ko itong iniisip. Hindi utang na loob nila na tayo yung nakaupo. It's the other way around. At bilang future and present and currently public servants, I think sobrang halaga talaga that we tend to know um, the importance of following our clients, the people, di ba, that we are serving. And that ends my presentation for PA 304, the Development Administration under Dr. Bong. So, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig and have a great day.